everyone. Welcome to our latest and greatest episode of Data Dialogues. I am your host, Larisa Bedgood. I am head of marketing here at PGM. And with me today is my fearless co-host, Michelle Taves. She is VP and Group GM of the Data Marketing Group. So, hey, Michelle, we have another fun one today.
Yep. Hey, Larissa, glad to join you. And I'm really excited because this is one of my favorite topics.
Yes. So, what we are talking about is 9 stories that prove animals are true masters of mischief. And you are probably all wondering, what does this have to do with data and how am I going to tie this into marketing? You're not, because I have got you. So in this episode, we've got some daring animal escapes, some clever little antics, a little bit of chaos across the animal kingdom, and chaos. Hello, it's funny because we're talking about wild animal behavior today, but that's, not exactly what marketers are trying to understand. However, what they are trying to understand is what's happening inside the household. Who lives there, how they live, maybe even if something as simple as whether there's a cat or dog. So at this point, you are probably all thinking, ding, 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 there is the correlation between wild animals and pets. But on a more serious note, though, at PGM, we do have such a wealth of data, not just on people, but pet owners. Think of all the pet brands out there, and knowing if you have a cat or a dog or different types of pets.
I often look at my own animals and I do think of the chaos that they have. It's interesting because this is really about wild animals, right? I don't know about you. I have 2 dogs and a cat, and I often think that they're pretty darn crazy and wild and cause a lot of chaos. And so I think that my own pets can very much be associated with wild animals.
I love that. That's a perfect correlation. And another note, a lot of our pets are really, truly members of our household and our family. So we want to be able to market to pet owners and their beloved animals and pets in a way that makes sense. But on that note, we want to kind of have fun with this episode. This is some wild animal antics that we're going to get into. Michelle and I couldn't resist this one, so let's get into it. All right, Michelle, kick us off.
I'm excited. So my first wild animal is Munchie's mishaps stuck in a high school vending machine. Oh my goodness, can you imagine going in there and getting your candy and then you have some animal coming out? So first up, we're going to be headed to Florida, one of my favorite places, because of course we are. Back in August of 2019, the Sheriff's Department got a call from Pine Ridge High School about a furry burglar. And yes, that's exactly what it sounds like. It was a raccoon, Larissa, that somehow broke into the vending machine, found the snacks, and then realized he had absolutely no way out. I think that's interesting because how did he get in, but he couldn't get out? But, hey, who knows? When officers arrived, they found him wedged between bags of potato chips and fruit snacks, living his best life, and also very much stuck. It took a deputy, animal control, and even a school custodian to roll the entire vending machine outside and free him. And the best part? He walked away completely fine, presumably still thinking, was that really worth it?
Literally my last weekend, wedged between a bag of potato chips and fruit snacks. I can relate. That's great. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, so this one is a concert crasher. So in August of 2023, Metallica was playing to nearly 80,000 fans at a stadium in Texas. And somehow one more guest made it in, a dog named Storm. So she was spotted just sitting in a seat, hanging out, calmly watching the show like she had a ticket. And she stayed there for hours, obviously enthralled by Metallica. first, people thought she had been abandoned. She was then taken to a local shelter, and her story started making the rounds online. But Storm wasn't abandoned at all. She had just literally snuck out of her house, which happened to be right next to the stadium. Her owners had no idea she was gone until they saw her, get this, on social media at a Metallica concert. She was reunited with her family the next day, so all was well. And Storm had a great night out, and yeah, living her best
You have
life.
to wonder how they didn't notice she was gone, though, right, Larissa? I don't know about you, but like my animals, they are at my feet 24/7. Like if they were gone for an entire day, if they're gone for an hour, I'm like looking for them, wondering where they're at. I couldn't imagine them going and doing that and not even noticing.
Same, exactly. If I can't, yeah, if I don't see my dog, yeah, in an hour's time, like I have radar. I know exactly where she is, and if I don't see her, something awry is going on.
For sure. Okay, so the next up is a full-on police chase. Oh boy. Mimu, the emu, lived on a farm in Harriman with his wife, Mimi. I got to say something about these names. But in one day on April 2023, nearby logging spooked him and he was gone. He cleared a 7-foot fence like it was nothing and took off running at nearly 40 miles per hour. The owner tried to chase him, lost him, and then things escalated quickly. Neighbors got involved, social media lit up with sightings, police and volunteer fighters joined the search. And after 7 hours, that seems like way too long, is it worth it? And a 20-mile chase, they finally cornered him in the middle of town. And the best part, it all ended with his owner calmly walking up, slipping a leash over his neck and leading him back home. Needless to say, the fence is now 9 feet tall.
I love that. Like, I'm just gonna take my emu out. My emu named my emu named Mimu out for a walk.
Yeah. Mimi and Mimu.
Yeah, the emus. All right. Okay. This one. Okay. We'll have to like pop the pictures of all of these in our video portion of the podcast. But this one was a little bit of a mystery for a while. So in late 2023, residents in Ellesmere Port, which is in England, started noticing something strange. There were chocolate wrappers everywhere. There were half-eaten bars scattered across the neighborhood day after day. People naturally assumed it was, the other neighbor, that neighbor. The complaints started rolling in, group chats lit up, and the whole thing even got a nickname called Wafergate. I love it. But no one could figure out who was behind it until one day someone spotted the real culprits, squirrels. They were running up trees, literally carrying chocolate bars and leaving a trail of wrappers behind them. Imagine by this time they were pretty chunky little squirrels. Turns out they had discovered a stash nearby and were just helping themselves, repeatedly. Like, hey, Mimu, or hey, Merle, it's time for a chocolate snack. So mystery was solved. The reputation of the neighbors were restored, and honestly, like pretty good deal for those squirrels. I'd be out there scavenging some chocolate too if it was for free.
That's funny, Laura.
All
right. This one might be my favorite. We'll see. In Kate, Texas, a black cat named Cleo started out with some light mischief, stealing things from inside of her own home. No big deal. And then she decided she was going to level up. While her owner was away, Cleo began breaking into neighbors' homes through open windows, car windows, however she can get in. And she stole things, and she wasn't picky about what she was stealing. Maybe some socks, some gloves, bathing suits, T-shirts, even a computer mouse. She brought back so much stolen stuff that her owner had to set up what she called a box of shame outside the house with a sign that basically said, My cat is a thief. Please come and get your things. And the best part, all of the neighbors loved it. Cleo became the local celebrity. People made shirts and even donated proceeds to an animal shelter.
My gosh, that is so funny. Okay, so this was the principal versus the dumpster. A very big surprise. Okay, so this was an early morning. School day had started or was about to start. Nothing unusual, at least at this point. So at a school in Somersville, the principal then walked out to unlock the dumpster, just his normal routine, until he sees a black bear that pops out of the dumpster. So the principal takes off running, but then the bear takes off running. Everyone survives. I mean, this crazy little chase caught on security footage. It turns out, obviously, as bears do, he had climbed in for a snack, probably chocolate bars left over by the squirrels, but he couldn't get back out. The students obviously loved it. The internet loved it. The school, they upgraded the lock. So I would not want to run into a bear in the morning.
Can you imagine the liability for the school?
Yes.
I wonder if they have insurance for that. A bear got in school and attacked. I don't know.
Like, imagine if it was the same school with the raccoon and the vending machine.
They might have a little issue that they have to go and take care of.
Exactly.
Okay, this is the Honduran Husky, the Midnight Escape Artist. Oh, okay, all right. This one is a full prison break, Larissa. At a rescue shelter in Arizona, a husky named King, what a great name for a husky, decided he was done being contained. Sometime after midnight, he breaks out of his kennel, sets off the alarm, and starts roaming the shelter. But he doesn't stop there. He actually tries to free all the other dogs. Oh, I love King. Like a full jail breakout, this part doesn't work, so he pivots. Breaking into the office, pulls the door open, throws himself into a full midnight party. Food everywhere, jumping on furniture, just living his best life until the police show up. And instead of running, he happily greets the officer, gets walked back to his kennel, and the officer even helps clean up the mess. In the ending, King gets adopted almost immediately. Honestly, sometimes crime does pay. I wonder if the officer adopted him. That would have been very cool.
Yes, that is so cute. Like, my favorite part of that is that, when the police show up, I could just see him like, like happily greeting them. Like, this is great. Okay. This one is pretty funny too. This is the mouse who tidied the shed. So this one is a little bit less chaos, more, think unexpected housekeeping surprises, which I wouldn't mind to have an unexpected housekeeping surprise, but not from this critter. So in a place called Bill Wells, a man started noticing something strange. He'd leave items out in his shed, and by morning they were all put back, neatly organized. At first, he had no idea what was going on, so he set up a night camera, and what he found was a mouse. So every night, this little guy would come in, gather up things like clothespins and corks and nuts and bolts, and just kind of place them into the tray. I don't know if it was as neatly as this is making it out to be, but just the fact that, he collected the mess and put them in a tray, I mean, that's kudos.
So I find that a little hard to believe, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is an internet story, folks. We're running with it because it's really super cute. Take it with a grain of salt, maybe. But
maybe he was a really, really smart mouse.
Yes, he is. Exactly. I feel like this is a cartoon mouse, though, and I think I've seen him on cartoons like Speedy Gonzales or something like that. But apparently, as the story goes, he was just cleaning. No food motivation, no chaos, just a well-organized mouse. He even tested it, the man, not the mouse. He left out different objects. The mouse cleaned those up too. So they ended up calling him the Welsh Tidy Mouse. Probably more reliable than most people, if the story can be believed.
think there's a disclaimer. What is that disclaimer that comes on movies? Like,
Yeah.
based on true facts, but perhaps some embellishment might have happened.
So if we have not talked to you on previous episodes about dirty data, sometimes data is incorrect or inaccurate. It is presented until, once it's out there, you realize it's bad data. This might be a case of bad data. We are not saying it is or it isn't, but it's fun.
We'll see. It's fun. Yeah. Okay, the next one. Surgery Bliss bears stage a Krispy Kreme heist. All right, this one is a full donut heist. At a base in Anchorage, a delivery driver steps away from his Krispy Kreme van for just a few minutes. Big mistake, because while he stepped away, a mother bear and her cub climbed into the van and go to town. They eat 20 packages of donut holes and about 6 packs of chocolate donut. Ugh. The driver comes back, sees the bears in the van. He tries banging on the side to scare them off, but the bears are completely unbothered, just honestly eating, enjoying their best life. Eventually, security shows up, sirens go off, and the bears finally wander out and head back into the woods. Man, I bet that driver was like just so surprised. I couldn't even imagine what that sight would have looked like.
And I don't know if I would have tried to scare him off like by banging, because I would be afraid that they would come out and charge me. I mean,
Exactly.
he was a brave delivery. Like he was protecting Krispy Kreme donuts.
I wonder if he got like an Employee of the Year award for his heroism.
Yeah, exactly. Like keep the donuts safe. Okay, so that was a super, super fun episode. And, again, at PGM, we don't necessarily have the data on wildlife. It would be really fun if we did. I don't know how you would use that for marketing purposes, but it was fun. What we do understand, though, of course, as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, is what's happening inside the home. And that obviously includes not just people, but pet owners. We have an amazing category or catalog of data on like dog owners, cat owners. We have different types of data on who's browsing for pet food, supplies, services. And it doesn't stop, of course, at pets. That's for me and Michelle as pet owners, and I'm sure a lot of you out there, if you have pets, they really are a part of your family. But we help you understand, really everything that's going inside the home, the full household. So things like hobbies and interests and lifestyles, what is likely to happen next based on the browsing signals and looking at first party data that you may have. We're able to analyze that and really help you put your best marketing foot forward so that the campaigns that you put out resonate. With that, though, we really enjoyed today's episode on our wild animals. Super fun. And as we wrap up, I want to remind you to stay curious, stay data driven, and we'll see you next time on Data Dialogues. Thanks all.